When doing a room conversion like I did, the hardest part isn't the minimizing, it's keeping it minimal. Deciding which items can stay and which items you allow yourself to bring in. Yes, of course, I spent a lot of time sorting everything out. Which items were up for recycling, disposal and sale. But no, I didn't throw it all out. There was a lot of tidying up to do as well. Then, when you start redecorating, you want to keep it minimal. What defines your space is its function, how you want to use it. In my case, it was clear that there had to be hi-fi equipment, since I wanted a listening room. To house this equipment, I chose this modular furniture system, which is actually old display furniture from a Scandinavian design store. I had it for a bargain when the store was renovating. It houses everything I need, and a little more, without losing its minimalistic appearance. So let me take you on a little tour, and I'll show you the items I selected and tell you why I selected them. Let's start with this section with the sliding doors. This is where I store my CDs. A lot of 90s, because that was the time when I bought the majority of my CDs. Pop, Latin, slightly alternative, classic, jazz, Italian, French, Spanish and so on. On top I keep my headphones, Sennheiser HD 579s. Not high-end, not that low-end either. They sound nice and pretty neutral, but after long listening sessions the headband can feel a little hard. So over time I might upgrade to a more comfortable model. They sit on top of a headphone stand made by AudioQuest, the AudioQuest Perch. It's a really nice headphone stand which doesn't harm your headphones. I'll explain what I mean with that in a future video. Next to that is a little lamp, which I call my falling water lamp, because it reminds me so much of the Falling Water House by Frank Lloyd Wright, with the horizontal elements placed slightly off-center. This lamp was designed by Jean-Pierre Boutillier, whom with his company Terrazzo created these lamps in the late 80s and early 90s. I really like the different textures of the glass and the way the light flows out of it when it's on. Though it's minimalistic, the design is very vibrant at the same time. It was very hard to find some information about this lamp, so if any of you have some additional information, please inform me in the comment section down below. One level up are my Pioneer speakers. These are so-called pure malt speakers. You might wonder, why would you call speakers after whiskey? Well, because they were made of 100-year-old whiskey barrels, allegedly from the Suntory factory. While other so-called wooden speakers are usually made out of MDF HDF particle board or other types of pressed wood, these are made out of solid oak. Though to some it might look like a gimmick, they actually sound very good, and the finishing is simply flawless. But that might not be surprising to people that know that Pioneer has a long history in building good speakers. Back when they were new in 2006 they were kinda pricey though, because of the used materials and the handmade labor that went into making a pair. Despite their small size, they only measure 15 by 25 centimeters, they can have a big room-filling sound when paired to a decent amplifier, because they need some power to shine. Next to them are some books, and this is basically my to-read pile. Then here we have a clock made in the, I believe, 1930s by the Glen Clock Company in Scotland. I actually should have it fixed, since it's not working right now, and it wasn't working when I bought it, but I simply couldn't resist it, because I love the design. The simple but classy faceplate and the ribbed case to me make it such a design icon of the Art Deco period. The case is made out of Galilit. It's a kind of similar material as bakelite, but instead of being synthetic, it's made out of milk, hence the white or ivory color. And with that, it matches the next object nicely. Talking about design icons of their period, this certainly is. To me this object screams 1960s, 1970s space age. It's a Penapet radio by National Panasonic. It was made to commemorate the 1970 World Expo in Osaka, Japan. This is just so space age, with the little window through which you can see the scale, but it could just as well be a portal through which astronauts can monitor the Earth. It runs on one 9-volt battery and it houses a small inbuilt speaker, so no room-filling hi-fi sound here. Unfortunately, it only has AM reception, which makes it practically useless nowadays here in Holland. And now we come to the heart of the system, which is the NAD CD receiver Model L40. And yes, that makes this a 3-in-1, but don't mistake this for just any 3-in-1, because the amplifier section is a descendant from the legendary NAD 3020 amplifier, which provides it with excellent sound. Though it only has 20 watts per channel, it still is an NAD, which means it can deliver much more power when required, so you always keep control over the speakers. And those 20 watts are actually more than enough in this setup. Because the speakers are relatively close to the wall, they even sometimes get boomy. The thing that took me the most time to decide upon was the art. I eventually chose this picture because of the serenity it transcends. It fits in really well with the rest of the objects. It's a picture of a so-called big class yacht from the beginning of the 20th century. These big class yachts were built to be raced by and entertain the rich and famous in the 1900s, 1910s, 20s and 30s. This yacht is called Whiteheather and was built in 1907 at a Fairlie boatyard in Scotland. Unfortunately, like many other yachts from that era, she was scrapped. The lead of her keel was melted and lived on in another famous yacht, the J-class yacht Velshida, which was a different fate for many other yachts at that time, since the lead from their keels was used for bullets to fight the Second World War. Though most of these yachts no longer exist, they live on in stunning photographs like this one by Frank Beacon. They truly were the haute couture of the seas, and to me represent the epitome of elegance from an era that is no more. All in all, I'm pretty satisfied with how the conversion turned out. I no longer have the feeling that I'm sleeping in a storage room. No longer am I being confronted with clutter waiting for me to tackle when I open my eyes every morning. I especially like all the negative space, though I have been thinking whether I should add a lounge chair in here. What do you think? Should I? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video and want to see more, check out my other videos, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.